All right, let's get it. Let's get it. Come on, come on, come on. You know how we do here. You know how we gets down. Right into it. Right into it. Just make sure all the platforms are good. Facebook. Let's do it real quick. To it. Right into it. Just make sure all the platforms are good. Facebook. Let's do it real quick. To it. Right into it. Good. So we're good on Facebook. LinkedIn. Here we go. Here we go. You know how we do. Again, podcast listeners, just bear with me while I practice what I preach in regards to getting the most efficient usage out of your time. If you've been around here for a while, you know there was a period in which I would have these recordings separate, but instead of doing that, I've decided, hey, let's do it the right way. Let's do it clean. Podcast listeners, let's knock it all out in one, and then use that time that I was like separating to record other shows, to do more reach outs and get in front of more people and things of that nature. So that's how I be living, constantly growing, constantly evolving, constantly getting better. All right, here we go. Here we go. YouTube. And we're all set. Getting better. All right, here we go. All right, here we are. All right, folks. Welcome back in. First and foremost, let me just introduce myself to anybody that may be new around here. My name, as one Crookshank. I am your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, and current 5-time, soon-to-be 6-time published author and educator. What I do, what I created, what the whole Move Swiftly brand and business is all about is taking the innovative teamwork lessons that you learn on the football field and aligning them with businesses and business owners so they have a team, they have a group of employees, they have a staff that moves as efficiently and has that same passion, that same eagerness to them as a championship high school or youth football team. That's what we do over here in a nutshell. If you're interested in getting more information on that, please, it's important, it's imperative that you do get in touch with me so we can talk about how to develop and how I can incorporate some of the a lot of the employee development workshops that I produce and I give out to business owners. So today, keeping with tradition, before I get to today's announcements, keeping with tradition, what we do every Tuesday, what I literally just posted this before I started recording. It's been well over a year. The reason I remember the fact that it's been over a year because I remember I did it. I started doing it when all the Caitlin Clark, like the media circus with Caitlin Clark was going around, and seeing that she was a hometown hero for her college team. I thought about all the college stars and the heroes that played for their specific college program, and that just kind of triggered into something. And then every week it's been a top 5 Tuesday every single week for over a year. So this week, again, seeing that we are talking how to proactively solve problems, we are going to dive deep into the top 5 ways in which you can become a proactive problem solver. Right? We're going to really give you a built out the framework for that concept. And again, like I'd say probably about 85 to 90%, probably closer to 95% of what you get over here, if it's your first time tuning into me, what you get is evergreen material. When I say evergreen material, I mean it doesn't matter when you consume it. You can listen to this recording today. I'm recording this April 29th, 2025. Somebody can pick this up on April 28th, 2045, and it'll be just as valuable, just as important, just as critical for you to learn, because what we're dissecting is how to anticipate that a problem is going to be coming, set your mind up, condition your mind, condition your lifestyle, condition everything you're about so you can fix the problem long before it comes up. It's a strength in that. There's a positivity in that. There's an element in that in which you are now not feeling like you are constantly reacting and putting out fires every day. You've set up a system. You've paid someone. You've been coached up by somebody. You have built a lifestyle in which the problem doesn't become a problem that affects your bottom line. So we're going to build out a framework. We're going to discuss a framework on how to do that today. Before I get too deep into the topic, let's me just get through a few announcements, and then we'll go from there. First and foremost, West Palm Beach, West Palm Beach, West Palm Beach. I'm telling you right now, you better get on right now, because as things are happening, things are happening, things are happening, things are happening. Things are happening for your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Things are happening for As One Crookshank. It's one of these things where the more I do these boxing lessons, the more I'm realizing, hey, I got to open the business back up. I might have to really turn this in. I might have to come back and really, really get down with the get down. All right. But for now, they're free. For now, I'm doing them. I'm a group leader at my church. So I do them every 2 weeks, and seeing that the feedback has been that great, I'll always keep it free in regards to that, coming from the church perspective. But I'm considering, opening back up for business and doing them, daily if I can get the clientele and things like that. But for now, again, if you're interested in free boxing lessons, either go to freeboxing.makeyourmove.com or hit the QR code that you are looking at right there on your screen, and I will send you more information. And as always, as I mentioned in today's intro, as I mentioned in every intro every morning, as business owners, I'm here to serve you. The system that I've created, the whole Move Swiftly system, the framework, the mindset, the concept, the way it works is to make it so you as a business owner have some level of control. You have control in regards to how you go about, who you hire, who you bring in, and you make it so people are taking it upon themselves to get better on a day in and day out basis. They're measurables. There are situations where every single person walking into your business, walking into your line of work says to themselves, hey, I got to get better. I got to get better. All right. I need you to go to freeguide.makeyourmove.com. I created a 10-step system, 10-step process in which you can be utilizing right now in your business that will make it so your team moves a whole lot more efficiently. Also, Patreon, be sure to tap in with me on the patreon.com/as144. Like I was telling you guys yesterday, there may be some tweaks in regards to how I go about doing that. But again, for now, if you are interested in having a community and being around, making it so you are doing what you have to do as an owner to solve the turnover problem that I know you have, just tap in with me on the Patreon link, and all of that is available on makeyourmove.com. That's makeyourmove.com. As you can see, you can shop, you can join the Patreon, you can book me to speak, you can learn more about your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, or just listen to another one of those fantastic episodes of the Move Swiftly podcast, #1 podcast on innovative teamwork, and it's been that way for, I believe, over 2 years at this point. Absolutely no plans in slowing down. All right, let's get into this top 5 list. Now, I sort of stepped on it a little bit. I'm going to recalibrate, rehash. We're gonna rediscuss what I said. All right. When it comes to creation, all right, just creation in general, content creation, creating a family, creating a business, creating whatever it is you want to create, there needs to be a level of consistency. You cannot go about being a creator. You cannot go about saying to yourself, you want to make a change. You want to be a leader. You want to be authentic. You want to be someone that folks follow. You want to build an audience. You cannot go about saying these things and not have systems and structures in place that you've created and you're following through with the structure. All right. This is incredibly, incredibly important. This right here is where so many people that are living in that mainstream media, the mainstream media that has been embarrassing me for the past week, the mainstream media that I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed at some of the things that I've had to watch in regards to Shador. I'm embarrassed with the Bill Belichick interview. I'm embarrassed with the ESPN draft experts who, instead of them painting the picture, instead of them actually looking at a Cam Ward and saying, man, that's a great story, that's a great opportunity, instead of them looking at a Cam Ward, the whole story is about how somebody else, a player like a Shador who doesn't need the money, he doesn't need the money that the NFL offers. They're making it so like somebody's a victim. It's an embarrassment. It's been an embarrassment. Again, I'm going to do my best to kind of wait for tomorrow morning to really dive into that concept. But the issue and the reality of the situation is when it's time to be a leader, when it's time to grow up, when it's time to be someone that other folks follow, be someone that can, can hold a conversation, can build things and can create things on their own. Consistency and structure is the number one thing. All right. So when you look at information, you look at people who have their own opinion, or there's a big story, a major story that's touching your heartstrings like last year. I'm just kind of giving you the framework in terms of how I came up with doing these top 5 Tuesdays. And again, this is a top 5 Tuesday that I do every single Tuesday. And it's always based on whether it's an evergreen topic or based on something that is a hot button issue. I'm able to do it. And I believe there was something called Stephen A's. There was Stephen A's list. So there was a Stephen A's list. And again, if you've listened to me, when it comes to Stephen A, respect him immensely, love the doors he's opened for people like myself. But I do not listen to that dude when it comes to football. I do not. I fucking can't take it. It's insane. Right. But anyway, he had Stephen A's list, and as one had to get, I had to get mine on. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do my top 5. So last year, again, there was a lot of that talk with Caitlin Clark, and seeing that I'm a sports guy, and my first job actually after college, I was a college scout where I would scout girls sports, and seeing her do her thing and how much attention that was getting, I said to myself, she's reminding me of certain players in terms of how they were thought of in college, and when they get to the pros, there's no way that they're going to ever exceed what they did in college. So it got me thinking about the top 5 hometown heroes of college athletics. So it was, I'll never forget, because it was the first time. It was Caitlin Clark, it was Reggie Bush, it was Tim Tebow, it was Sean Merriman, and it was Skylar Diggins. Those were my top five college hometown heroes. And I enjoyed doing that so much. I enjoyed doing that particular Move Swiftly thought so much that in my mind, I'm like, you know what? Let's just knock this out every Tuesday and then create a system around it, and then make some content around it and be able to build structure and build systems. So it teaches you to break down certain things so they're really understandable for you. All right. So as far as what we're going to discuss today, what the theme is all week, the theme all week has been how to proactively solve problems. All right. Proactively solve problems. And this is important. This is an important distinction. And I touched on it yesterday a little bit. But when you set yourself up to proactively solve issues, solving a problem, you will have gained a great advantage in your business. You would have gained a great advantage in your personal life. You would have a great advantage in terms of how you operate, what you do, what you're all about, because you have proactively fixed the issue. You fixed it before it came up. This is how great businesses are built. The reason that I chose this thumbnail, let me put the thumbnail up real quick for my viewers. The reason I chose this thumbnail where it's me sitting, if you're listening to this on the Move Swiftly podcast, by the way, comment, and make sure you share comment and make sure you share this video for any business owners, anybody that may be needing it at the moment. But it was me back, it was a year ago when I did this fitness event out here in West Palm Beach, but I also put a picture of the Under Armour new technology and how it was all created, because this was Kevin Plank figuring out how to solve a problem before it became a problem, with the cotton underneath the shoulder pads and all that kind of stuff. So proactively solving problems will allow you some insight, gain you an advantage that nobody else, you will not have to worry about your competitors. I mean, you're always going to have to deal with competitors in business, obviously, but you won't have to worry about your competitors as much, because you've set your business up, you set your mindset up, you set your structure up. All right. You set everything you do up in a way where that problem's being solved in my sleep. That problem was already solved 10, 15 weeks ago when I started the business. You want that mentality. You want that mentality. You want people around you. You want folks in your inner circle. You want everyone around you with the mentality of, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix this before it even comes up. So here it is, top 5 ways. And so for you podcast listeners, just know this is how we structure the live streams now. And if you've been listening to me for a regular amount of time, you know, that's been sort of a subtle change to how I put these live streams together. Now, instead of me talking for a whole hour, I work towards keeping it to about 45 minutes. And I have an article that I'm also reading from to keep me on track, because I know me personally as a speaker, I can get a little long-winded. I can, start talking about a certain subject and then something pops off. And the next thing you know, I'm on here talking for a whole hour and 30 minutes where I'm like, you know what? Let me think about my audience. Let me think about the people that consume. Let me think about not only my audience, but also my time. I need to be spending that time sending out emails, getting in front of more people and things of that nature. So there's a structure in place. There's usually an article. 5 out of the 3 days I do this live stream, there's an article that goes with it. The Thursday is usually me recapping the things that I talked about the previous 3 days. And then Friday is Faith-Based Friday. So for me, again, all of this stuff is systematic, and it didn't happen overnight. It happened with me putting it out there, again, failing, not listening to certain things and not liking it, and then coming back and saying, okay, I'm gonna do it like this, doing it like that, doing it all, making sure that there's a trial and error component to it, because you're all in. That is how business needs to be run. All right. So again, reading directly from the article now, it's titled Top 5 Ways to Proactively Solve Problems. And as I'm reading, I'm going to be, as I'm telling the stories, as I'm reading directly from the article, telling the stories, I'm also going to be giving context to each story so we understand and we're all on the same page. Because like I said, this is evergreen material. I'm recording this in 2025. This material is going to be just as valuable in 2055 or 2065. It's going to be just as important. All right. So here we go. Top 5 ways to proactively solve problems. Number 1. All right. And just so we're clear, before I even get started, the first four are going to be coming in question format. All right. Going to be coming in question format, because it's very vital. It's very important when we're talking about proactively solving problems. You have got to be asking yourself the right question in your own head. All right. You cannot depend on somebody else when it comes to, especially when it comes to this. Now, you can depend on other people if you have the right people in your life to make sure that they're helping you when it comes to seeing some of the blind spots, which we're going to get to in one of the reasons actually. But it's important that you in your own head are asking yourself the correct question to see if it's even something that's worth pursuing, or it's a problem that you'll be willing to solve over a consistent period of time. All right. So here we go. Number 1, what pulls the heartstrings? What pulls on the heartstrings? All right. For me, reading directly from the article, podcast listeners. All right. So for me, I think back to watching my sister's first job. She was just 14 or 15 years old, working as an after-school counselor at the same elementary school I attended. Watching her pour into those kids, it left an imprint. Obviously, seeing what I'm doing now, right? She became so emotionally invested that she couldn't even watch those late night commercials showing starving children without changing the channel. That's what I mean that's what it means to have your heart pulled. Until you know what breaks your heart, you'll never know what problems you're truly meant to solve. You can't be proactive if you're not personally invested. I want to read that last line again. All right. So we are clear and we are 1000% understanding what I'm saying. Okay. Until you know what breaks your heart, you'll never know what problems you're truly meant to solve. You can't be proactive if you're not personally invested. All right. Here is the issue. There's a couple things that I'm gonna have to get to. I'm gonna have to hurt somebody when I say this. All right, because when I mention, where is it? Right here. you'll never, until you know what breaks your heart, you'll never know what problems you're truly meant to solve. This right here cuts a lot of people off because so many people live their life in a way where they avoid heartbreak. Okay, so many people. There's absolutely, and again, I get it. There's a period in which there's a kind of a natural way in which adults move you, in which they've set up a life. They've been okay. They've been settling their entire life, and they set up a situation in which they have avoided heartbreak for years. They've avoided getting into a relationship with someone. They've avoided, doing that thing or going after the thing that they really want because they know the chances of them getting that thing are very slim, or they're not high, and they don't want to expose themselves to the point in which their heart breaks. But if you don't go after the things that break your heart, then you won't know how to solve the problem. Okay, if you set up a life, and there's a lot of you listening to me right now, there's a lot of you hearing me right now who are living a life in which you have avoided heartbreak, you've avoided putting yourself in vulnerable situations in which you can't control because you're that afraid of having your heart broken again, and you don't know how to move forward. You don't know what uncomfort feels. You get so locked in to your comfort zone that you don't do it. You do not pay attention to the actual problem. So the example I shared with my sister, again, I grew up younger brother wanting to do everything with my sister. Like, again, I tell anyone that's known me over an extended period of time knows how close I grew up with my older sister. And she actually had one of the reasons that we were so tight is because I was in elementary school while she had a job at she's only 5 years older than me, right? So she was the daycare counselor at the elementary school that I attended, and she got to know a lot of the kids that were in my grade or in my age and whatnot. And again, I'm also playing football, and she used to be at all the games. Again, we grew up incredibly tight. And she developed a passion for kids. She developed a passion for being kind of a mentor type of person that the young kids can look up to. I remember actually when I got to high school and being around some of those same girls that she was a daycare counselor for and all that kind of stuff. And they would talk about my sister, like that first week, they liked her more than me and stuff like that. And she was always engaged with that younger generation. And what those kids didn't see is, at home, when we'd be at home and one of these commercials would come on where they're starving children and people are asking for donations, my sister would change the channel. She would change the channel. She would not look at it because she can't take it. And now when you look at what she's doing now with the work she's doing now, it's a lot of it is centered around helping younger people, helping women, helping people get through domestic abuse situations. In fact, I believe she did an interview about a year and a half ago or some time ago where she was actually being interviewed for the work that she was doing for domestic abuse and doing a lot of positive things in the community and stuff like that. In fact, she worked for a nonprofit called Metro Teen Aid, where they were advising and pushing for people, whether boys and girls, to get tested for HIV and all that kind of stuff. So those problems created those things that she was doing to proactively solve problems. It created a career and created opportunities for her, because these are the things that pulled on her heartstrings. And she got an element, she got an idea, she got a taste of what doing meaningful work feels like long before she even got to college. This was, again, she was like 14 or 15 years old. It was like 3 years before she even got to college. And she got a taste of what getting paid to do meaningful work felt like. And that right there, me saying that brings me to number 2. All right. Number 2, reading directly from the article now. Number 2 is, can I get paid for this? Once you've identified what pulls on your heartstrings, the next question is practical. Can I get paid to solve this? I say it all the time. Don't start a business, solve a problem. 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 All right. Did I say So you guys get it. Don't start a business. Stop starting a business. No one gives a shit about how cool your logo is and how nice your tax ID is and how nice your website is and the merch, and the t-shirts, and all this other nonsense that come with running a business. Again, no, that stuff is fun and there's a time and a place for that. But what people really want to know is, can you fix my problems? Can you fix my problems? If I pay my money for whatever it is you're offering, whatever service, whatever thing you got, whatever product you got, is my problem now going to get fixed because I paid for this? All right. We'll use this in any example. We could take a cup. We could take anything that you have. Hole punch. Actually, I'll just pull this out right here. I'm looking at it. Okay. I have a damn. Let me remove this. I have a binder. I have a bunch of pieces of paper that need to go in the binder. All right. I have a binder, bunch of pieces of paper that need to go in the binder. And the binder has 3 rings. The binder has 3 rings and it needs holes. This don't got no holes in it. So I put this in here and it creates 3 holes. I paid for this because it fixes my problem. Do I give a shit about what the brand is? Do I give a shit about how cool the website on where I bought this is? Do I give a shit about, the logo and anything like that? No, I don't. Neither do you. What you care about is that this hole puncher can put 3 holes in this piece of paper and now it can go in the binder. That's what it is. That's what it is, folks. That's what it is. When people pay their money for something, they want to know, does it fix their problem? It's too sunny out. Hey, I'm going to get one of these, right? I'm going to get one of these, and now the sun isn't in my eye. All right. I want to walk around with some water all the time. Get a water bottle, put the water in. Now I get to drink water. Do I care where this damn product, this water bottle came from? No. All right. So and I get fired up when it comes to that conversation because I deal with a lot of people who do a bunch of shit to avoid the thing that you need to be doing. So forgive me if I got excited there, but the point is number two on we're talking now top 5 ways to proactively solve problems is number 1, can I get paid for this? And to get deeper into the weeds, it's you do not start a business, you fix the damn problem first. You fix the problem first, and that's what people essentially are paying for. Now, the marketing and the branding and all the other stuff that come with it, okay, that's fair. That comes with time. I understand you. But set your shit up, set your business, set your stuff up, set it all up in a way in which you're fixing a specific problem. You hear me say it every single day when I come up on this show is that the turnover issue that you're having as a business owner, and you have a ton of turnover, people are coming in and out of your business. You're not establishing any measurables. There's no actual system in place for you to retain a staff. That's the problem that I'm fixing. That's the problem that the Move Swiftly brand is fixing every single day. That is what you got to pay for. And that's where you got to plant your flag. All right. Don't start a business, fix the problem, fix the problem, fix the problem, fix the problem, day in and day out. So back to reading directly from the article, all right? Don't start a business, solve a problem. But here's the catch, sustainability. At some point, the mission needs funding, your time, your effort, your resources. It all costs. So find the angle where your passion intersects with a paycheck. Otherwise, you risk burning out before the mission even takes off. And this I've seen this, I'm guilty of it myself in many ways, is that you have a passion, you have a great deal of passion for something, you have a great desire for something to happen, and you get so consumed with this desire that in many ways you forget that there needs to be resources, there needs to be money, there needs to be something in which you can align with this passion. Without the cash, without the money, then it just doesn't get solved. All right. So number two on this list, again, going over the top 5 ways in which you can proactively solve problems. Number 1 was what pulls on the heartstrings. And this can be dangerous because when you start really figuring out what pulls on your heartstrings, you can get so consumed with solving that problem that number 2 can be lost and forgotten in many ways. Number 2 is, Can I get paid for this? Is this problem something that's big enough that's so important that there's a way and there's an angle in which there's money involved in it, and I can utilize these resources and make it happen? And again, want to make sure I'm clear on the record saying this as frequently as possible. It's about fixing problems, folks. It's about fixing problems. This right here, again, hole puncher right here. Podcast listeners just know I'm showing a hole puncher, paper that doesn't have any holes in it. You put it in, boom, problems fixed. That's my point. How do you fix the problem? Okay, get to the point where you can fix the damn problem. All right. Now let's go number 3. Going on number 3. Okay, this is big. This is a big one. This is a big one. This is a big one. This is a absolutely monumental one because there's a lot of pride, a lot of ego that comes with running your own show. All right. So number 3, who's done this before and can I reach out? All right. This one, reading directly from the article, podcast listeners, listen to me very closely. This one's underrated, especially in the age of connection. Who's already doing this work in a way that inspires you? Let me put you on game. Go watch this 30-minute video by my guy Taj Deshawn called Drafting Mentors. He nails the idea of intentionally identifying the people you admire and modeling their path. The internet is the biggest mentorship platform in the world. You don't have to guess what success looks like. Find someone who's already doing it, reach out, and most importantly, apply. Build your well while you're still thirsty. Okay, I'm gonna just put this video out real quick. I'm not gonna have it play. I'm not gonna have it play because I want to kind of talk through it. But my guy right there, this dude right there, listen to me. Actually, I have it right here. I'll show you right here. There's a reason that Taj Deshawn wrote the foreword to my book. All right. There's a reason I asked him personally to write the foreword to my second book, Make Your Move, a unique look into boxing, dance, and entrepreneurship. There's a reason for that. All right. There's a reason he and I connected on this one. You see that? You see that? Taj Deshawn has one 6-figure athlete. We met when I played. We know this picture. We know this picture. He was at the game. He played playing the same game. All right. He played in the same exact game. And I'm telling you this because what he says in that video when he's showing you the sculpt that his mother gave him in terms of how to help people and things like that. When it comes to number 3, all right, number 3, and again, we're going over how to proactively solve problems. Comes to number 3, who's done this before. Even though I think I'm 2 years older than him, because I was a junior. He came in as a freshman. And I transferred in my junior year, and he came in as a freshman. So I was 2 years older than him. I learned from him in terms of how to go about reaching out to folks. Like he will tell, if I was to bring him on right now, he will tell you I was the one that contacted him and say, yo, how do you use LinkedIn? How do you get it? How do you, kind of utilize that and get in front of more people and do this and do that and do that? Like, there's so much I was learning from him in terms of how to go about reaching out to people on the internet, because that 2-year span, there was, again, he's younger, so he knows how to utilize the internet, knows how to reach out to people in a certain way. And I was picking up game off of what he was on. And I was like, okay, let me do it like that. So you got to learn to humble yourself. You got to learn to humble yourself and accept the fact that you don't have all the answers, but there are people out there on the internet right now grinding the same way you grinding that are would be more than happy to just put you on some game, to just have you learn, hey man, look, you got to do this, you got to do that. In fact, one of the things that actually made me be more intentional about these live streams is the fact that I'm listening to Alex Hormozi's book as we speak. All right. I already talked about how to do the $100 million offers book that I talked about last week. And I'm in the middle of $100 million leads now. And he's discussing it as part of this book is actually discussing constantly doing outreach on social media, constantly using social media, constantly doing the things on social media that are going to make it so you're reaching out to your tribe. But also you mix that with something that Dre Baldwin will tell me, again, somebody I've spoken about frequently on the show, to where you got to use it, but you got to use it in a strategic way. You can't be the one scrolling and wasting a bunch of time on social, but you do have to have a presence there, and being able to mix all of these elements and put it into your own piece, your own recipe for your business and your success. That does not happen without learning from mentors. And when that's why I thought of, like, as I was writing the article, I thought about the video, because the title, drafting, just like we just had an NFL draft, you have the opportunity to draft, folks. You could draft whoever the fuck it is you want in your mentorship. You can draft whoever you want to be a mentor to you online. That's your opportunity. If you don't take advantage of it, if you can't look at the world that we live in now with all of the platforms and everything we have going on, and you can't sit back and say, man, love the work that person's doing, I would love to figure out a way. In which I can get like that. And if you don't have a list of maybe 4 or 5 people that are doing some major things, and you figured out, hey man, I'm gonna follow their YouTube channel, I'm gonna follow their work, I'm gonna maybe purchase some course that they have, if they have a low ticket thing, depending on where my budget is, I'm gonna just do something. I'm going to reach out, I'm gonna send a message. I don't know. I'm going to do something. Damn it. If you can't just do something, you don't deserve success. If you can't just do something, you can't humble yourself to do something, then you got a problem. You got a problem if you can't just do something. Somebody's done it before. Reach out, send a message, shake somebody's hand, go to an event, just do something. All right. Do something that's going to push you in a positive direction. Sometimes that is the most frustrating part, is when I have to sit back and listen to some people complain about an issue, but they do absolutely nothing to fix it. So forgive me again if I sound a little passionate on this particular issue, on this particular subject, but it's important. It's so damn important, and it's so underrated in the game of entrepreneurship, or the game of just being able to figure out how to create more opportunities for yourself. All right, so that's number 3. Let's get to number 4. Oh boy, let's get to number 4. Oh boy, let's get to number 4. If you're looking at this live, then you can already read it. But I'm gonna break it down for my podcast listeners. Okay, so number 4. Does it make you uncomfortable? Here we go. Now we talking to somebody. Number 4. Does it make you uncomfortable? Now it gets real. Does this path you're on make you uncomfortable? Because if it doesn't, then you probably don't care enough. When you've aligned your heart, your income, and your mentors, there comes a point where you simply have to go. And that moment, that's when it gets uncomfortable. And it should. That's how you know it matters. That discomfort, it's proof you give a damn. So don't run from it. Embrace it. Embrace the uncomfort, folks. Embrace it. Let me see if I can give you an example. There's several examples that I can share, but for the sake of time, because I want to get to it. Actually, you know what? Let's do this, because 4 and 5 kind of merge together. So 4 is the question, does it make you uncomfortable? And number 5 is use the discomfort as a signal, not a stop sign. So piggyback and reading directly from the article. I'm going to put 4 and 5 together as I close you guys out soon. So 5 is use discomfort as a signal, not a stop sign. Piggybacking off number 4, let discomfort become the sign that you're in the right place. Sometimes we get so addicted to comfort that we miss the blessing right in front of us. Don't mistake ease for alignment. If something or someone makes you slightly uneasy, but also strangely focused, that might be the exact space where you're built to grow. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's how proactive problem solvers are made. Final word, stay ahead of the fire. Be proactive. Being proactive is a mindset. It's a decision to live your life in the before, not the after. So now I'll ask you, what problems pulls on your heart? Can you monetize your mission? Who are your mentors? Who are you willing to feel uncomfortable? Will you use discomfort as a compass instead of a cage? And then let's talk in the comments. And if you haven't already checked out yesterday's deep dive into proactive problem solving, we're not just solving problems, we're anticipating and making moves. Hashtag make you move. Hashtag top 5 Tuesday. Hashtag leadership development. Hashtag winterpreneur. Hashtag proactive mindset. Mic drop. All right, so let's dive into 4 and 5 as I close you guys out. All right. So here's one of the personal. I'll share a personal story on my end because it's something that's actually defined my entire life. Something I never actually thought would define my entire life. I knew it was a significant moment in my life, but I didn't realize it was going to be what made As One Crookshank, what filled me up with this concept and this understanding that whenever you start leaning towards your uncomfort, there's a strength in that. There's a success that comes with really moving into your uncomfort zone and moving out of your comfort zone, I should say, and stepping into your real space, stepping into a place in which you can embrace this and let that be your story. Let that be the thing that takes you to another planet, takes you and makes it so you get to use that as an advantage. So let me tell you, it was 14. When you're a high school freshman, I believe you're 14 years old. Yes, you're 14 years old. For the previous 6 years, all right, from 7 years old all the way to 14, basically 7 or 6 years, I was playing football for a youth football team named the White Oak Warriors. And regular consumers, you've heard bits and pieces of this story, but you got to understand how just this principle, just this element still to this day has made me who I am. All right. So we become obviously the White Oak Warriors, nationally known brand. And, we go win the championship. We do all that great stuff on the field that I've talked about at length. And if I get started on that, I'll probably talk about it for another hour, but I won't give you the details on that right now. But here's what happened as it was time for me to transition into something that wasn't as comfortable, wasn't as easy as when it came time for me to go to high school, like it is for a lot of young athletes or young players that are transitioning now. Now you're not the big man on campus. Now you're not the guy, promised to start. Now you're not the guy that everyone knows, the captain and all that. Your acceptance, you're not just automatically going to get acceptance because of what you did for some damn boys club youth football program. That's not the way it works. All right. Again, this is why the draft and all that kind of stuff, watching that stuff is always going to be watching I don't watch the draft live, but I always, keep up with what's going on when it comes to the transition and football stuff like that. Again, and by the way, play-by-play, holler at me if you guys, anybody out there listening needs a guy to do the play-by-play announcements this fall. Anyway, my high school, Good Counsel High School, the high school that I graduated from, for the first year, my freshman year, I was the definition of a social misfit. You talk about uncomfort. You talk about me being literally the only black kid in some classes. You talk about me walking into a situation where I knew absolutely nobody. Only people I knew who played for the White Oak Warriors before, it was Reggie and Jerron, and they were juniors and they were already starting on varsity, but nobody from the team that I played for was there with me. They're all trying to, I was actually ended up being the only one from that particular time that ended up being a Good Counsel. And it was so easy. So many things happened that I don't have time to get into right now. So many things that happened that would have made it so easy for me to just get up and leave and go to the school that I was supposed to go to, which was Springbrook High School. It's predominantly Black and Latino school where I knew all the people. I knew all the people from my middle school days, and a lot of the people that I played with. And with the White Oak Warriors, they went to those public schools and stuff like that. It would have been a very easy. My sister went to Springbrook, and all the same sister that I spoke very highly about, that I looked up to. It'd been so easy for me to just give up on Good Counsel and go there. Instead, stuck it out, stayed for all 4 years, ended up being a captain on the team and first team all WCAC. And that just going through that, being able to see where I was that freshman year to the next 4 years, this is how it developed. If you lean into that discomfort, do not look at it as a signal that you got to go run back to your comfort zone. It is not. It is an opportunity for you to grow, and that can happen at any phase of life. It could have happened when you're in middle school. It can happen when you're in elementary school. It can happen when you're a damn teenager. It can happen in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. There's no telling when it can happen. But the issue is you got to set up your mindset. You got to set up your place, set up where you are in your own mental health to where, hey, I'm not running from discomfort anymore, because the result of that is something that's absolutely catastrophic. And I'm taking a bigger risk. If I waste time constantly every single day avoiding some heartbreaking moment because I'm too afraid of fucking rejection. That's something you have got to get out of your system, and you got to move towards the discomfort. All right. So all that being said, all right, tune in tomorrow. We got more of this. We got more of this coming. We got Wintrepreneur Wednesday, as we do every single Wednesday. But just to review, today we went over the top five ways to be a proactive problem solver, to proactively solve problems. Number one, we got to figure out what pulls on our heartstrings. Number two, got to ask yourself, can I get paid to do it? Number three, who's done it before? Who are the mentors? Can I reach out to these people? Can I figure out, can I get some gems? Can I do something that's going to make me better? Number four, does it make me uncomfortable? And number five, recognize that comfort as a signal and it's not a stop sign. So all that being said, again, main website to check out to dive deeper into all the work I'm doing, it is makeyourmove.com. That's makeyourmove.com. One-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Check it out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon. Woo!